I think, made NATO attack Libya was the word S.A.T.O.
S.A.T.O, yes.
S.A.T.O is the South Atlantic Organization Treaty. So after only, 7 days after his speech in United Nations, on Monday, September 28, 2009, during the second Africa-South America Summit, held over in the weekend in Margarita Island, Venezuela, convening more than 60 leaders, Libyan leader proposed to create an organization that brings together the nations of South Africa and South America and Africa. He said the organization should be created immediately to provide a real platform in the South, which is similar to that of the North Atlantic Treaty Organization. The organization could become a South Atlantic, be named S.A.T.O. The goal, as he said, is that all nations could participate actively in the decision-making procedure about their development and are not subject to unilateral decisions by the NATO countries or the Security Council of the United Nations at all. In 2011, they're supposed to be convening the third summit of ASA, of the African South America Summit, in which Libya or Brother Gaddafi will announce the establishment of S.A.T.O. So they,
2011.
okay, in 2011, September 2011. This means that what we have saying in Arabic, they had him for lunch before they had him for supper. They attacked Libya under false pretenses. They destroyed Libya. And I want to give you a comparison between what Libya was and what Libya became after 2011. And this is not my own words or my own evaluation. It was the evaluation of the British. For example, Libya in 2011, the House of Commons Foreign Affairs Committee on examining the intervention and the collapse of the UK future policy, was saying that England or Britain was wrong in participating, okay, and that they lied to them, to the British people for in order to occupy Libya. They said that that report says the Libyan economy generated some 75 billion of gross domestic product in 2010. This economy produced an average annual per capita income of approximately 12 million to 50, which was comparable to the average income in some European countries. Libyan government revenue greatly exceeded expenditure in 2000s. The surplus revenue was invested in a sovereign wealth fund, the Libyan Investment Authority, which was conservatively valued at 53 billion in June 2010. The United Nations Human Development Report 2010, which is a United Nations aggregate measure of health, education, and income, ranked Libya as the 53rd most advanced country in the world for human development, and as the first advanced country in Africa. After 2011, an American evaluation says the following. On April 18, 2000, said nearly 7 years after Gaddafi's removal, Libya remains mired in civil conflict, political division, lawlessness, and economic crisis, with few signs of abating anytime soon. ISIS and Al-Qaeda, though seriously degraded, are regrouping. Despite backing of the United Nations and its partners, the Western-based government of national accord has not been able to provide security or consolidate power throughout Libya. Armed militias, some with ties to the Eastern government and some with ties to the Western government, profit off the lack of security and the rule of law, smuggling drugs, weapons and people, and migrants using Libya as a weapon, as a waypoint into Europe, suffered horrific treatment. Adding to the chaos, a host of external actors continue to back different Libyan factions, with the US and the UN supporting the General National government, Egypt and the United Emirates and Russia supporting Haftar and the eastern part government, and Qatar and Turkey supporting the different Islamic groups. In conclusion, I would say that Brother Gaddafi was right when he gave a lecture called Imperialism and Void. And he said that imperialism never dies. Imperialism is revived when its conditions are ripe. And the conditions were ripe during 1911. There were traitors, the Arabs were weak, Africans were weak, the greed of imperialism has grown, so imperialism came back.
Since we were also talking about Libya, I must also say that after the revolution, I did not agree with what Gaddafi did, with everything that Gaddafi did. He made mistakes. There is no doubt about it in my mind. But after the revolution, all these tombstones were desecrated, as if these people had done something which was, these people, and one has to keep in mind also that the people who die in wars, these young people who die in wars, are not the ones who ordered the war. The senators, the congressmen, the lords, the members of parliament, they don't send their sons to these wars. Who goes to these wars? The sons of the working class.
Exactly.
In Vietnam War, if you look at the statistics of Vietnam War, you see that there is a disproportionate number of blacks who died in the Vietnam War. Why? Because blacks are less educated, they have no future, they try to go to the army, they are put in the front line because they are not officers, and they are the ones who die. So wars are, unacceptable. It's even worse. Now you can have somebody in Arizona sending a drone on a computer to kill somebody without a trial. Because we used to talk about rule of law, about trial before you decide that somebody is guilty. Now that is finished. Now the American president has a meeting under the Obama administration every Tuesday. They used to meet to decide who to target. Unbelievable, unbelievable. And you know, until a few weeks ago, a few months ago, that in Europe we will not have another war. It is impossible to have another war like this. But when I see what is happening now in Ukraine, how they are trying to provoke a situation to create another war, I would not be surprised if, unfortunately, because this is what it is leading to. Slowly, slowly, slowly. You know, they talk about the Russian bear. Now, if you keep pricking the Russian bear, the Russian bear, in the end, is going to show its claws and attack. It cannot defend. Again, you mentioned NATO. NATO should have been disbanded. This was the agreement. Gorbachev said, and Kohl never denied it, that Kohl told him, after you dissolve the Warsaw Pact and we dissolve NATO. NATO was not dissolved. NATO has been involved in, in all these aggressions in the Middle East. And after the First World War, when so many empires fell, the Habsburg Empire, the Russian monarchy fell, Austro-Hungarian Empire fell, the Ottoman Empire fell. After that, the brunt of all conflicts really has been the Middle East. Even more so in the last decades, where we have had conflicts, as we said, in Iraq, in Syria, in Libya, now in Yemen, in Afghanistan. It's continuing, and we have avoided a big conflagration between the big superpowers, between Russia and the United States, because of what is called MAD, mutual assured destruction. There is this theory that, Russia and the United States could destroy each other, mutually assured destruction. So if you know that if you start a war, you're going to destroy Russia, but Russia is going to destroy you, you don't do it. So the United States is now trying to create a system by which this MAD, mutually would not be any more prevalent. And the United States would have the upper hand, and Russia will not be able to counterattack. Now, of course, this is why you have the expansion of NATO. One, you have this anti-missile system surrounding Russia. Why Russia is very much against Ukraine joining NATO, because it has then no time to go on alert if it is attacked. So these are all issues which are important. Let me just finish by giving you very brief facts, or one fact. If you look at the defense expenditure of the last of 2000, the last one was according to SIPRI, which is a very well-established institute, Swedish Institute for Peace Research on arms, and it is well-established and very well accepted. Defense spending by the United States in 2017 was 610 billion. 610 billion. Which means that the United States was spending on defense more than China, Russia, Saudi Arabia, India, France, United Kingdom, and Japan together. All together, they did not spend as much as the United States. Russia, which is supposed to be the biggest enemy of the United States, only spends 60 billion, only 1/10 of what the United States spends on the military.
Yes.
So there is no comparison.
No comparison.
Between 320 million on bombing Libya and 25 million on the reconstruction. 320 to bomb and 25 to reconstruct. Just imagine. Thank you.
That's the country talking about the democratic and the human being.
Yes.